Hello there, my YouTube family. How are you? I'm so glad to be with you once again. I'm Helen Sattler, of course, your Destiny Helper, coming to you once again with a major topic that many of you I didn't know that you were so interested in this topic until I did it. The emails are off the scale, and then the comments are off the scale. I didn't realize how many of you were dealing with aging narcissists. There is a tremendous amount of you, but go figure, many of you have been in these relationships for 30, 40 years and some longer than that. And you know that the narcissists have a tendency to progress in whatever element they are in. And they seem to start getting weaker, more vulnerable, so they can be more malignant as they get older. And so once again, I want to thank you for all the emails, astounding and amazing. Thank you. And for all of you who subscribe to my YouTube channel, yay, thank you so much. I have a conference call coming, calling all empaths. The information will be up and loading in a few days. You'll be able to register for the conference. Is for all empaths, and if you're not an empath and maybe you have a family member or you know some empath, please join us. It's going to be filled with information. Of course, Dr. Carmen Bryant would be my guest speaker along with myself, and we're bringing to the table over 54 years of experience in dealing with this subject matter. So please listen up, and those of you that are getting the flyer, you can always write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Those of you who are interested in the session, please continue to write me. My books are so filled, so write me and we can progress for scheduling you in. So let's do this. When I did my live video, I'm now coming on Thursday night after hours for the live videos. Those of you who want to be with me for whatever place I am in the specific standard time, so you can base your time around that. But I'm coming on after hours on Thursday night, and I say after hours because it's usually our ministry night, and then right after that I am coming on live, and many of you have asked me to do it, so I'm here. I'm here live, and I can answer your questions, be there integrating with you on a personal basis Thursday night. And thank you so much for those of you who joined me the last time. It was amazing. I love it, and we are going to do it again. So I promise you that I will come back and do a video on the aging narcissist. We just couldn't get enough, did we? We didn't get enough when we did the Q&A, so I am here now. And so we're going to talk about the aging narcissist. Many of you, and I want to talk about the aging narcissist by the school of narcissists. Like you have your somatic, you have your cerebral, you have your seductive, your malignant, and the seductive is just like your elite narcissist. So let's deal with it. Let's deal with that somatic. Let's deal with the covert. Let's deal with the seductive narcissist, and let's deal with the malignant narcissist. So we will deal with that, and the cerebral narcissist. Now, the cerebral narcissist is about the mind. You know, the cerebral narcissist, if you notice, even when they were younger, they were engaged sexually to get the fuel out of you, but they wasn't really, they could go days, months, weeks, and some of them, if they can just have sex twice a year. With the cerebral narcissist, sex was not something that they engrafted to. They did it because they needed the supply from you, so they gave you what you wanted to get the supply. Especially if you're going to be with them, be married to them, then they will do what is necessary to do, but they was about the mind. And you know, with the cerebral narcissist, you had to keep your mind strong because they did a lot of mind game, a lot of mind playing, a lot of mind torment. They wasn't physical, but they were verbal. They got in your mind and you would study. Even after you had been with them, you married to them, and some of you, now you coming over to the aging narcissist, where they were very sharp with their mind. Well, when they're aging, guess what? They're not so sharp with their mind. They're not so quick with their thinking. They are having memory loss. Some of them look like they're headed toward dementia. And when they do this, they attach themselves. The cerebral narcissists have a strong addictive attachment in their older years. So as they age, they will attach now to the supply, where they're more obsessed with the supply, not because they love them, but because they feel very vulnerable. So they get obsessed now with the primary source, or they'll become obsessed with the grandchild. They start turning all of their grandiosity to get credit for somebody else activation, somebody else is doing, because the cerebral narcissist is about the mind. Their mind is under attack. They're forgetting things. They're saying things right there before them. They can't see them, and it irritates them because they got to be in control. Well, when your memory is at stake, you're losing control, and they go just ballistic because they feel like they're losing control. So what they do is they become more narcissistic in their ways. What do you mean? They become more belittling. They gaslight you more. All of the normal traits of devaluation, they do that more because they now need to strip you of what you were able to keep from the younger years to now. And a lot of times the supply has to fight so for their mind, and the cerebral narcissists have been so detriment in the years that they accumulate, and many of them will even, this is every school of narcissists, will either turn to drugs, they'll turn to, well, the cerebral won't turn to sex, but they would turn to alcohol, or they'll turn to really latching on to the primary supply. And the primary supply now have been through so much at this point. There was a time they value the narcissist latching on to them. That didn't happen when they was young, because they would always silence them. They will go out and discard them, and then come back and hoover them. So they kept going through the changes to a lot of things they become basically numb to. And so what matter in the younger years does not matter to the supply now. What the supply craved in the younger years, the supply don't even want it now. They just want out, or they're just in it because of covenant. They don't want to get a divorce because they've been with the narcissist for so long, and so now they're just there with the narcissist. So now the narcissist losing memory. When they lose memory, they lose strength, so they read more. You're going to find that the cerebral narcissist is aggressive in their reading, aggressive with documentation, scientific knowledge, all the things that boost your cerebral. The narcissist is totally engrafted in, and when they're conversating, you know they're conversating more about the facts of life, other things, because they have to prove their intellectualism. You may even find them saying things, quoting things, going into the dynamics of diatext, where they're quoting things over and over and over and over again, trying to strengthen their mind, and they're losing it because they're that memory. They can't remember where the keys are. They put things down. They forget to do things. They wrote things that they wanted to do, and they didn't do it, and so they're losing assignments. They're losing schedules. The cerebral narcissist is very organized, very structured, down to an obsession. And now that obsession has been just totally clobbered, because what has happened is they're not able to think. And so even though they're writing things down, they forget where they put the sticky note that has the instruction on it for them to remember. Well, where did I put it so I can remember what I'm supposed to remember? And so they are very angry, and jealousy is always a fuel tank in the narcissist's young years. Well, guess what? The cerebral is really jealous, and you can see them with the narcissistic stare, that deep emptiness that is filled with hate. And I mean, they are focused on you. It's so that their stare, you can feel it. It's like this stare has hands, because they're watching you think, they're watching you move, they're watching you remember, they're remembering how they were, and they're watching you still intact psychologically. And they're angry. And so sometime in this module, they want the family over, and they want the family so they can choose the person that they're going to attach to, and that will be their golden child. So everything, they're going to attach to someone who's creative, they're going to attach to someone who's well accomplished, they're going to attach to someone progressive. And it has been known that even a narcissist 71 years old may do a final discard and go get someone young, because they need someone to spike them up. and you are gray rocking. You don't care nothing about what they're doing. You have no feelings about what they're doing. You just numb. Here's your food, and I'm out. I've done what I'm supposed to do. I'm out. And so you have no regards to it. So they can't even get fuel from you. The narcissist has to have fuel. And you may notice some cerebral now getting a little more aggressive where they almost look like they want to get physical because you're not gray. You're gray rocking them. You're not giving them the fuel they need. You're not running after them. You're not giving them the attention. You're not giving them the praise. And those of you who are giving them the praise, they are latching on to you like leeches. I mean, you go to the next bedroom and they don't accuse you of going out the door, being with somebody, or that you went in the other room to talk to somebody, because you notice the cerebral get very insecure because they pride themselves on their mind, and their mind is under attack. And sometimes it's the reaping mode. You call it karma, we call it reaping. So they start reaping the things they sowed, and the reaping place that they reap at is in their mind, in their thoughts, in their ideology. So the cerebral, not sexual, may even try to be sexual in a time where everything is at a flip-flop. You know what I mean? It's on the down line. And so when you was up line, when everything was up, rolling, you didn't want it. Now it is not. Everything's going down here, and now you want to do a roller coaster ride up, and it ain't happening. And so then the one who's in love still with that narcissist, because trauma bonding. Sometimes you can't leave. You no longer feel them. You no longer love them. But the kids are gone, and you just feel like you're just there. And so you're trained to being there, because remember, transcription to translation. Please go on that video and look at it. The narcissist has trained your mind to think in a pattern. And now that you're older, you're on automatic pilot. So it doesn't matter what they do. You're right there loving them, and you feel guilty, especially if you're an empath. You feel guilty for anything that you think is negative, and you hold yourself hostage. When sometimes what you're doing is balance the system to care for yourself. And sometimes empaths can feel guilty for self-care when they never learn to develop as an empath. That cerebral narcissist is very aggressive, very insecure, and very dependent on others, because they can't think. They use your mind. They matriculate through your mind. They attach to your mind. And everything you do now, you are getting hostile, because they're taking all the credit for what the grandchild do. And then now our next one in the aging narcissists, many of you have dealt with a lot of people. You still with the young narcissist, so you've never experienced the aging narcissist unless you've had an elderly parent, an elderly uncle, or grandparent. Then you know how that can be with the aging narcissist. Now we have the somatic narcissist, the one who is sexually inclined. I mean, everything is built around looks and sex, and they build sex with a trophy, because they want you to see their body. They want you to experience their body. Everything is about the body. Everything's about looks. So they want you to experience their body. They want you to feel their body. They want you to enjoy their looks. And then when the somatic get old, you notice they're having all of these plastic surgeries. I mean, one surgery after another. Some doctors refuse to give them any more surgery. They just go to another doctor and pay them to get more surgery, until now they have lost the look of themselves, the shape of themselves. And I mean, they kind of start looking plastic and weird, but to them they look gorgeous, and everything about them is about looks. And they look at you and they're watching you age. And remember, because they mirror you, and you're slowing down. You've been with them for 50, 60 years. You are slowing down. You're aging, because they done totally some of them just done burnt your psyche out. You done dealt with so much to them. You like, whatever. And so the narcissist comes in and he mirrors himself. So what he does is break off from you. The somatic usually don't become obsessed. They break off because they're about themselves and looks. So what they'll do is go and get something that they can pride themselves in, usually a younger supply. They always head for the younger supply, unless they find this really refined supply, because they have wealth, they have prestige. And the narcissist will do that. They will go to the older, refined supply to attach to the accomplishment when they're aging, because they don't have the looks anymore. I mean, everything that was going north is going east and west, and everything that was going north is now going south. And so they have to get other means. They play more games in their looks, and they become more skilled at deception as they get older, because the somatic has to have the appearance. Imagery is everything. And if you know the somatics, they will go and make sure they have what it takes. They will take these different medications, different herbs that will keep their body. They go into eating oysters and eating things that's going to keep them sexually astute, even to the point that some of the narcissists will engage toys, other things, because they got to keep that look. And then the wife, they torture the wife more. They need to trauma bond the wife more because they need to lock that permanent supply in place and make that permanent supply like they don't have anywhere else to go. And also with that permanent supply with a somatic, they need to keep that supply up too, because that supply is an imagery of themselves, and people are going to judge the supply about themselves. And if the supply don't keep themselves, they will not go out with the supply. They barely want to take you out to eat, and they bring everything home because they don't want the visibility of you, because you are now matching their mindset about themselves, even though they don't look like themselves. I mean, some of them, they stay in the gym. So usually you don't see the somatic narcissist unless he's gotten sick. If he got sick and can't go to the gym, he's got a pop belly, and then they scheme more. They make you look at the strong points they have. If their body isn't good, then look at my face. They look at their face and they play mind games, and they are skilled in getting you into attachment zone and trauma bonding you, because the somatic narcissists, most narcissists, get into their attachment phase. Some of them even become suicidal because they're about their looks and they just don't have it anymore. They're sick. They can't move the way they do. They cannot handle the imagery. So some narcissists will commit suicide because they cannot handle the fact that they can't move. They can't deal. Nobody's praising them, because the older they get and they start to look older, the less the praise is going to come. And so the narcissists, usually the somatic narcissists, go after the younger supply, because remember, it's all about image. They don't care nothing. It's all about image. Your wealth is about image. Your body is about image. And so the narcissists, even though they'd have failed, they get on the supply, the permanent supply, about keeping themselves up, because they start to hide themselves behind the good look of the well-kept supply. And the somatic, when they are with you and they want you on a permanent basis, they'll take care of all the house. They'll take care of the bills. They will still cheat, triangulate. They will still devalue you. They will still leave and come back. They got this silent mode, this disappearing act. They ghost, and then they come back. And when they come back, they're going to make sure you're well taken care of, because they have nowhere in their mind that you are leaving. So they take care of you and they take you out. You're their trophy. You're the trophy on the arm. People talk about how good you look, and they take all the credit for, yeah, I do this for her. I do this. I keep her. Or I do him. So everything is about them. So the aging somatic narcissists become wicked. They become evil. It's almost like they're losing their mind. When they look at themselves, you may see them hitting the wall or throwing the towel in the mirror or going away, and they seem to be off in a distance where they're just fading out on you. They are in a dazed state, because they can't get their looks back, and there's only so much surgery you can do. There's only so much lift you can do, and they keep doing surgery where the older they get, the harder it is to pull all that back when you done had 15, 20 surgeries. And that's when the narcissists become very vulnerable when they are somatic. They become suicidal when they are somatic. And then instead of them attaching to people, they have a tendency to pull themselves away, to distance themselves. They don't want to talk to you. Why? Because they're ashamed of how they look, and they think you're judging the way they look, and you're looking at them. And some of you that have been with the narcissist 60 years, you're looking at them saying, I've given my life to you. Why would I want to leave now? I don't have time to train anybody else. And it really wasn't you training the narcissist was training you. And so the narcissist pulls away, and they go to that silent mode, and their silence is so deep until you can feel it. But remember what caused the narcissist to become that. They went inside of themselves, and they can't escape. Now this is the second level of going inside of themselves and not being able to come out, not being able to escape. The somatic usually can be very, very, very suicidal and sadistic. They kill everything that's positive in you. Once they cannot get back what they thought made them, they go after to kill everything in you. And the somatic narcissists, meditating all the time, can become malignant. And you feel the presence of them. You can feel the danger of them. That's the somatic. narcissists, because it's not about looks anymore. They don't have it like they had it, and they don't want you to ever have it. Now we go to the covert narcissists. The covert can be in all forms: somatic, uh, 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 covert, somatic. They can be seductive, vindictive, and some of them can be malignant. So the covert is the one who was always undercover. This is the charming narcissist. Everybody love them. They wonder what's wrong that you want to leave. Why you want to leave something so wonderful? I'm looking for that. And you thinking you're not looking for this because that's him outside. But him inside, all the furniture is tore up. Everything is against the wall because he is ballistic, and the narcissist that you deal with at home is not that public figure. Well, that has commenced over the years, and usually the person with the covert narcissist is filled with rage and anger where they want to get back. So the narcissists that need them, they get them back if they're sick or if they had an accident or if they have to be taken care of. You know, Madea, there's a program called Madea, and Madea, they show where one of the ladies' husband got sick. He was a narcissist. He cheated on her, treated her wrong. Well, now he's sick. He's in a wheelchair. He has this disease, and she's the one that pushes him through the house, and he goes down the steps, and then she acts like she didn't see him as he's at the bottom of the step, trying to get back all those years that he's done her wrong. Well, the moment you take revenge, you start to age, you start to die. You don't take revenge. If you stayed there all those years, you had an opportunity of freedom, you had an opportunity of decision-making process, and you would kill your own inner man, your inside, the essence, the core of who you are, when you are filled with rage and anger. And so try to handle that, because sometimes when the narcissist is very vulnerable, all of that triggers you. Don't get enraged. If you cannot help them, then give them to their family, leave them, do whatever. But never use rage and revenge as a pathway of getting back at the narcissist. Just don't do that, because the overt is charming, the overt is dangerous, the overt is a master at gaslighting. Most of the narcissists are, because that's one of the tools they use. But the covert's a little bit different, because he throws the rock and hides his hands around a crowd of people, so you can't even say that it was him, even though it's something that he would do. But so is the people he around. They will do that too. And the covert is very keen on making you doubt yourself. And when they argue, they do a passive-aggressive argument. They're very aggressive in winning the argument, very passive, so you can be confused about how they are. And then they always turn things. So now the aging narcissist is always, if you thought he turned it when you was young, he's really turning it now. And then the covert narcissist that is aging bring problems in on you, because he needs to feel like he really got it. So he will stir up problems, then bring it into your vicinity and watch you fight out of it, because they feel like they still got it, as long as they can overthrow you at every turn, demise you at every turn. He will even cause the little children, start arguments with the little children. These are kids, but he feels that he don't have it anymore. He's older, he's slower, his thinking process is not as keen as it was. And then economically, when you go into retirement, you don't get that big check, and you don't have the body to do 4 and 5 jobs. Those who are wealthy use their money to counteract situation, to bring up problems, but they always bring it to the primary supply, because they punish you for every year they live. They punish you for the diseases they have, because you have to take care of them. So they're calm when they want something, they're charming when they want something, but oh my God, they can get very malignant, because remember, the covert are master schemers, and schemers are thinkers. They are not cerebral, because they want all the other amenities that go with the relationship. They're highly sexual, because they are proven to themselves that they're good looking, they're charming, like the somatic. That is the covert, and the covert can become more dangerous, because remember, rocks are being thrown, but he has no evidence on his hands, and the rocks he throws hurts, they kill. And so the covert narcissist is very bitter, very angry. You're walking across the room, they hold their feet out like they're yarning. You get tripped up over their feet, then they ask you, did you fall? They're looking down at you, asking, did you fall? And you can see this smirkish smile on their face, and you have to leave because it can be dangerous, because they're now doing things to hurt, because they need the pain, and because they're not getting the triangulation, because they are older. It's not easy to get that supply. It's getting harder, and so if they don't have the cash to trick these young girls, young men into coming to them, then they don't have nothing, because they don't have the looks anymore, they don't have the physique anymore, and people can kind of edge on their scheming because they done got slower. They playing games and you can see them coming yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And by the time they get there today, you already got them. And when there was a time, you couldn't even see them way in the future, because they were scheming like that. A convert is a master magician. It is always what's quicker than the eyes. And then when you didn't see it because you doubted, they gaslight you to make you think that you're crazy. Well, they really mastered it. And all their skills come hemming in when they are older, because that's what the covert does. And then you have the malignant narcissist. The malignant narcissist, you stayed there because you were afraid. You stayed there because you felt like that you couldn't get away. The narcissist convinced you, if you leave, I'll get the kids. I'll find you. I'll find you in these 50 states and I'll make you pay. I'm going to make you suffer if you ever think about leaving me. And you thought about leaving, but his words rung in your head. And it was like a resounding gong over and over. If you leave me, I'll get you. If you leave me, I'll find you. If you leave me, I'll get the kids. If you leave me, I'll find you. I'll find you in Hawaii. I'll find you in Japan. I'll find you because you belong to me. You are mine. I love you. And I mean, this is why he's hurting you. And the malignant can be very physical, just like the lower narcissists. I mean, they choke you to almost you're out of breath or you pass out. The malignant narcissists have a rage issue because they have a rage internally, they manifest externally. And so the aging malignant narcissist, what he does is he fights. He fights you. He even fights you. He may be on a crutch. He gonna hit you with that crutch. He on the cane. He gonna throw the cane. He can't move, so he falls to the floor and he crawls, because now he's after your ankles. He's after whatever he can get. He's like a little chihuahua with long legs. Come on here. And now you got 2 of them instead of 4. And so what happens is this malignant narcissist and now you can leave if you are healthy. But sometimes when the longer you stay with the narcissist, they broke down you physiologically. They broke down your mind. So psychologically you're torn, and physiologically you're torn, and your body is a wreck. So you almost feel like, what's the use of leaving? There ain't nothing else I can do. Nobody else is going to want me. And so he stays there, the malignant narcissist. But every day becomes more of a living hell. You don't have the stamina you had before. You become more secretive. The supply becomes more secretive because you're too old for this to be happening to you. You're thinking, so you're too ashamed to bring other folk in. But the malignant narcissist, he is very aggressive. The malignant narcissist will always build flying monkeys out of fear. And if he's wealthy, he pays them. He gives them what they want. And they're like bulldog. He says, and they're going. If he put those dogs on you, they will obey his voice because he have the means to supply their greed, their thirst, their savage need. And so even the malignant narcissist, if he's not able to perform sexually, go through all of the antics, but he can't. It's over. But he does, because in his mind it's not. Even though his eyes are saying that dog is not living. And that he would keep going, because a malignant narcissist is so foul and they've done so much damage until they can't handle their recourse. They can't handle, you say karma, we say reaping. They can't handle their reaping process. And so they get more malignant until most supply find themselves in their older age on the move, on the run, because somehow this death angel is with them. And it's like the only way they get energy now is through maximum suffering through the death. But they turn that on the supply that has been with them. Or when they get supply, especially if they're aging narcissists with money, and they get the supply and they always get younger, because you notice the aging supply always go younger unless an older supply has something to give them, because they need to get their youth back. They don't have their stamina. They don't have their mind. They're not thinking as quick. They're not moving as quick. When they drive the car, I mean, they're turning the corner. Then next week get here, they finally turned the corner. Okay, so a lot of slowness is about them. So their mind, they scheme in their mind. Well, when the mind isn't working like the cerebral, they do other means. You got sticky notes all over the house. Trip her when she come around the corner to the kitchen, and then there you go. They trip you when you come around the corner to the kitchen. The older narcissist is endangered. It's an endangerment because they're going to look for younger supply. And the older narcissists have a tendency to discard. And many people think they're safe because they're older. Being older is not safety. That doesn't mean that you're safe. It means that you need to be careful, because that narcissist go get the younger supply. And what the narcissist does is get the younger supply to turn on the older supply, because it gives him what he needs. And remember, he is malignant. And that malignancy lets you know he's dangerous. You know that from the previous years. Well, when they get older, they get meaner, they get sadder, they get more vulnerable. Now, one thing about the covert narcissists will become the vulnerable narcissists. They will have a tendency to tell you they hurt their leg, or they don't feel good, or if you left, they will call you coughing and say, I've fallen on the floor, and they'll have you running if they can, or they'll call you when you want to go visit, or you in the bedroom. It's always something wrong with them. It's always something you don't have. The covert is like this, and they get worse because the covert always have a sad story. You know, when I was a young kid, 13 kids jumped on me, or my mom left me, then you find out most of the stories he told or she told were lies. And they anything to get your sympathy. So the covert thrive on your sympathy. That's why they like empaths, because empaths have a longer endurance for suffering, and they get the empath, and they're guaranteed that 50 years down the road, whenever I come back or if I stay, they will be there, because the empaths still have that sorrowful feeling if they have not matured. The mature empath with the super empath, this is grown up. A super empath is not the level of power they're able to release. It's the growth that they have amended to, and the growth that they have attached to, and it's the mind that they think with. Super empaths that are very skilled does not go supernova all the time, because the recovery time is major. And what the nova would do, what the narcissist would do, would cause them to go supernova, then attack them, because you're down, you're weak, your mind is not together. It takes too much for you to get that much power out and not bring it in. There ain't no sudden bounce back. You don't suddenly bounce back with that much power release. So you use it very wisely. Like a beast or a wasp would only use their stinger when they need to protect themselves, because they know they're going to lose their stinger. And so that's the way it is with the malignant narcissist. And then you have the seductive narcissist, which is the somatic. You know, everything is about lust. They are bisexual. They've been known to be getting into bestiality, you know, because they just foul. Everything is sexual, and they build it sexual. And that's why when you get with some of these seductive narcissists, the seductive narcissist is very skilled in the arena of seduction, with their eyes, with their presence, with their bedroom mannerism and antics. They are very, 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 very skilled. So they hook their victims based on skill level of seduction and sexuality. And sometimes the skill level of seduction is the manner of pull that they're able to pull you in. So the aging narcissist, number one, becomes more of what they used to be. Number two, they can become very malignant, very intentional for your demise. Number three, they will look for younger supply to pull the energy out of them. And so number four, never trust a narcissist just because he's been there for 60, 70 years that he won't leave. He will leave and go to younger supply, because he feel like he has nothing else to offer. And every time you look at him, he's thinking for you, thinking, or she's thinking for you, thinking that they are ashamed of me. me. They're mocking me. And when their mind is saying they're mocking you, they see you can't move. They see you on the cane, or you sick, you're under serious medication, all of these different diseases, and your level of stress as a narcissist, his level of stress is really just overwhelmed. I mean, he's burnt to the core because he have done so much destruction. Now he's reaping that. And that's why they're so malignant. And what they can do, they become very divisive. They are more divisive. They divide the family, and they sit back and watch you go forward. And they're sitting back, and they are the cause. But they have taken that and word salad that situation so until you don't even know who to call. You all have left while you even arguing, but you're still arguing because now your temperature is up, your temperament is off the scale, and the atmosphere is lit with divisive tactics. So the agent narcissists, unless they're financially astute, they are usually financial pullers. They're going to pull your money until you have nothing. It was worse when they was young. It was bad when they was young, but it's worse when they're older, because you're going to find yourself, as long as you got $1 and they know it, they are going to spend it. They're going to find a reason. They're very fussing, and they're saying you are the reason that I can't move. I gave my whole life to you, and that's not the truth. So they're going on, and you're listening because you are aged yourself. And then the older narcissists, they get the younger supply. They are very jealous, dangerously jealous. They're always accusational. Any boy again in the grocery store, you on aisle 12 and he's on aisle 3. He's going to accuse you of that guy being on aisle 3. They watch you like a hog. They are overbearing and controlling. They was that before, but as they get older, they are overbearing as an older narcissist with a younger narcissist. And when you call because maybe something is going on with the kids, they don't want the mirror. They don't want the reminder. So many of them are detached unless there's something they need from the kids. Then they're attached to the kids. And when they're attached to the kids, they will divide the kids from you, saying the reason I'm here because you never knew your mom. Your mom was always like this. Your dad was always like this. And so that spirit that's on the narcissist, because it's constant, usually get on the children. And you will find two things. The children pull away from them to keep their sanity, or they divide against you to keep the narcissist happy. So the narcissist that is an aging narcissist, they become more vigorous in all of the traits that they have in their life. With narcissism, they are more vigorous in scattering your friends, or they're very, very codependent. They have a tendency to go to alcohol. They have a tendency to go to drugs. They will take everything away from you, even the dog. The malignant narcissist, you go toward the dog, you come home, the dog isn't there. They done got rid of the dog. Any attachment to the malignant and the covert narcissist, they're going to get rid of, because you strictly belong to them, because they have attached to you, and the cerebral have a tendency to do this. They have attached to you, and they become obsessed with you. It's something you wanted younger, but it's not something you wanted older. Now it's a problem because you feel like you can't breathe. Those are the narcissist's feelings, and they want you to express their internals by making you feel everything they feel. Well, I hope this has been an encouraging video for you. Those of you who are dealing with aging narcissists. You said, what do I do? Honey, it's all about your mind. You have to keep your mind when you're there with them. It's not about anything else, because they're controlling everything. They're interrupters. They're skilled interrupters in their aging process. So you're going to have to keep your mind, build your mind. Have a friend you talk to that stimulate your mind. And when you stimulate your mind, they will stimulate your wisdom, your strategy, and you will stay sharp. Always do something. Take a walk. Go do the garden. Never let yourself sit around where you get weak. Walk, do something. Walk to the store. Walk around the house. Walk, just keep your bones strong. Make sure you're taking your vitamins. You're taking your calcium. Make sure you're taking that to build your body up. And then you may have to alter your eating so you can make sure that you are at your maximum strength. Do whatever it takes, because as long as you are in the house with that aging narcissist, the malignancy is always around you. No matter what class they're in, it's going to be negative. It's never going to be for your good. And this obsession, first you may seem to like it because it's something that you want, but then it gets old because you can't breathe. It's like a python spirit. You're choking the life out of you and you want to breathe. I can't breathe. That's what you will be saying in your life. I can't breathe. I need to breathe. I need to be able to go to the store without you calling every 5 minutes. Or I come out the store, you're sitting in front of the store and we got 2 cars and you tell me to leave the car there and you'll take an Uber and you'll go get the car to drive it back to prove that I'm coming home. It's crazy stuff that is happening with the aging narcissist. So you got to be progressive when it comes to your youth, progressive when it comes to your strength, progressive when it comes to your imagination. Think, get a moment and sit and meditate on what you want. Even if you don't have the physical stamina, put it in your mind anyway, because it will strengthen you. Meditate on you doing something. Get a rose garden, get a project, teach yourself how to sew. You never sew, teach yourself how to sew. That's focus, and it's a learning opportunity. And so while he's over there bawling and squalling, you are focused on learning how to learning how to knit, learning how to do your hair, learn how to do makeup, learn something. Buy dolls, fix dolls up, sell them. Get your mind in order, because your mind is always under attack with an aging narcissist, and you are aging with that narcissist. Somebody has to be sound. Somebody has to be strong, because the narcissist is always a narc. No matter how old he is, no matter how young they are, the narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist, and they're very slow to change because they don't want to. They don't see a need to. They never take responsibility. It's everybody else's fault, and they don't need changing. You need changing. That's the aging narcissist. And I pray those of you who are over 50, you're 60, you're 70, and some of you who have written me, you're close to 80, and the narcissist is right there with you. Build your mind. Build your mind. Get a t-shirt and put ICDT. I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to get a t-shirt. I'll let you know when I get it, and you can buy it from me if you don't buy it from yourself, because you can do this. Your years, as long as you're breathing, are still powerful. They still matter, and you matter. You are just as important in your older years as you were in your younger years. As a matter of fact, you're more valuable now. You have more wisdom. You got more experience. Let's use it powerfully. I pray that you've enjoyed this video. Empath, remember, October 24th from 10 to 2, we want to see you. We got an appointment, and I want to see you there. The conferences, all the information is going to be on the conferences. On the conference, write me. I'm going to have the portal up so you can register. Write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Many of you are waiting for me to call, but I sent information to you because my calendar is vast. I get hundreds, if not thousands sometimes, of email in a day. So my attendance, we keep my portal clear so you can constantly write me. Those of you that has subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you a million times over. Those of you who have not, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel and push that bell to get an alert anytime I come on. Also, go to my Instagram. Listen to those videos. It's a 5-minute shot of wisdom for you. Just a shot in the arm for like a couple of minutes. And then like those pictures. Like my pictures on Instagram. Those of you who don't have a church, please visit me. Come see me on Thursday nights, Sundays, under Into His Chambers. We will love to be a blessing to you. Well, I love you to life. Every day is your day, and every day is a day for you to progress and to become better at what you used to do that would build you up. So join me again on the next video. Like and share the page. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and listen up for the flyer. Read it and wait till I open the portal and then go for it. Let's maximize the moment. I'll see you on the next video.